the pop-ups too.
I know, it's crazy. As soon as you go live, like all this permission to record, sure, accept. All right, we're good.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
Just got out of a meeting?
Yeah. Oh man, it's just nonstop meetings, phone calls.
Cool.
You
You want to do like a 1 minute reset? We'll just do a quick meditation.
What's that?
You want to do a 1 minute reset? We'll just do a quick meditation.
You mean like start the recording over? Oh,
sure.
Oh, you want to do a meditation right now?
We'll just do a little bit of a little meditation to
okay, I'm
just
down.
drop in together.
All right.
Cool. Awesome.
You got to teach me how to meditate. I've done it like 3 times in my life, probably.
Awesome. So let's do it together. Just follow the guidance.
Okay.
Yeah. So just sit back in your chair and get comfortable. We're going to be just a minute here, and we can start by just taking a deep breath in, and on the exhale, just allow your eyes to close and relax, and your body to just settle into the chair. Now just pull your attention inside your body, just noticing the different kinds of sensations that run through this field of the body. You're going to notice some tingling and heat, cold, coolness. And now I want you to just come to the top of the head with your attention. And we're just going to do a quick scan down and allow our body to just relax and settle even more into this moment. So starting at the top of your head, just allow your attention to scan your scalp and your forehead and your eyes. And wherever you meet tension, just allow that tension to relax. Just give yourself the suggestion to relax and let go. And scanning down and down the back of your head and down towards your neck. Scanning with the attention down to the arms, through the elbows and through the wrists to the hands. Just giving yourself in all parts of your body full permission to relax and be comfortable and enjoy the pleasant sensation of relaxation. Scanning down your back, and down the front of your body, down towards the hips and knees. And from the hips and the waist down the legs, through the knees, through the ankles, down towards the feet and toes. And now as we just finish up, allow your attention to just encompass your entire body again. Just notice how it feels. You may have a greater sensitivity of the sensations now. Perhaps more openness and relaxation in the body. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and dive into our meeting.
That was great.
Cool.
So I have to say, like that whole tingling, like that sensation, that's so weird. Like I've never like experienced. I have to say, like to get that to happen, like you actually have to like kind of like roll your eyes back and then think about your brain type of thing, and it just kind of sends the whole sensation down, right?
The sensation is actually always there. It's just like right now.
Like that tingling, that whole tingling, the whole body tingling.
Yeah. So check this out. Right now, you're probably, until I say this, you're not aware of the clothes touching your skin. But now we're talking about it, and now you're becoming aware of the sensation of the clothes touching your skin. In the same way, our body is always having these sensations, these tinglings, because there's always stuff going on at the cellular level, but we're just not paying attention because we're paying attention here. And so part of mindfulness is just diving in with your attention and experiencing the full field of the body.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That was pretty cool. I've tried meditating, but like having someone tell you what to do, it definitely helps. So
Yeah.
the app, I like the idea already.
Yeah, so that's where we're going with the app. So let's just do a little introduction, Jason. So we want to do this pitch just very condensed and to the point, maybe no more than 20 minutes.
Okay.
And we'll hit all of the core elements of our project and also give you an opportunity to share and to also ask us some questions.
Okay,
So,
cool. I did read the white paper completely this morning. So got a little bit of gist of what's going on, but go ahead, take it away.
Cool. Yeah, we'll fill in the gaps. So we'll just introduce ourselves. Maybe Mike, you can start.
Yeah, so I'll do a quick and dirty. I grew up doing martial arts, all different forms of martial arts. It kind of gave me a foundation for focus and discipline. When I was 20 years old, so I'm 31 years old now. When I was 20 years old, I got into meditation for the first time. And I remember looking around at all these events and everyone was about 60 years old. And I asked myself, what was something that's similar about people my age? And it ended up being yoga. So I ended up becoming a yoga teacher, traveled around the world teaching yoga and meditation in India and Thailand and stuff like that. All amazing experiences. Fast forward when I was about 27, so about 4 years ago, dove into entrepreneurship, became one of the top selling romance publishers in the world, which is hilarious. Touched e-commerce, killed it in that. Last year I was spending about $30,000 to $50,000 a day, all stemming from removing a very spiritual practice of removing money mindset blocks that my parents gave me, obviously. So I had a mentor with that, and then everything I touched kind of turned to gold. And now my 100% sole focus is with ConsciousOs as of the last 6 months. So that's my quick and dirty, and
Yeah, I'll just do a quick introduction too. So my journey since the age of 18 has really been answering this question of how do we optimize the human experience? And specifically, I was interested in happiness and performance. This drew me into a path of really diving into, especially with the brain. I had a brain clinic or a neurofeedback clinic here in Vancouver where we did a lot of brain optimization and got to experience what works and what doesn't work and how we can really blend different disciplines together to create that optimal state. So, and as part of my search, I also ended up, like Mike, traveling a lot, meeting with a lot of teachers, meeting with a lot of coaches. I think overall I've invested about 200 grand in my own firsthand research through different teachers, through different methods, through different nootropics and everything that I could try to really figure out what works in the end to optimize our happiness and performance.
Cool. I guess I give a little intro by myself, so in case anybody that's watching or views replay knows who I am. Jason Stone, 38 years old. I got my start in entrepreneurship at a young age. I went to school for mechanical engineering. In my college years, I started a business on eBay that stemmed into an engineering firm that's still active today called Treadstone Performance Engineering. After that, I worked that business for a good 5, 6, 7, 8 years, steady, focused, building the brand, and a brand that's still, very, very alive and well today. Then I got into social media. Social media changed the game for me completely, 100%, 180 degrees. I started the Millionaire Mentor account. Obviously, that's where I got my stardom for a lot of different startups and companies that pretty much stemmed from that platform. Instagram was an amazing platform. Fast forward a couple years after that, I started the account just to give value back to the people, back to entrepreneurs, blogging, stuff like that. Inspiration, motivation, obviously, it's kind of what the account's known for. But it stemmed, multiple businesses after that. I was able to take a step back from Treadstone and, the e-commerce side. I killed it in e-commerce, like you said. Social media, I started a marketing agency, started a consulting firm, started a mentorship program. In the works right now is a dating app, a supplement company, a cryptocurrency company. You name it. I got a franchising. I use my Instagram accounts and social media reach to build a email subscriber list of 600,000 email subscribers. I was able to take a franchise that I invested in with my buddy, local door coupons, to 50 franchises in less than 2 years. And I got my hands on quite a few different businesses, multiple niches, and it's just a fun ride. With the audience that I've built over social media, the entrepreneur audience especially. So huge opportunities opens up. That's why I'm kind of listening. I love this platform pitch. I'm looking to, invest in companies and help companies grow, be an advisor to companies. And, the rest is history. So let's move on to the pitch.
I love it, Jason. And just to quickly throw in, I listened to one of your interviews, and prior to all of the success that you've had, you worked as something very similar to me and Boris, also in that you were a dishwasher, you worked in the produce department, you traded penny stocks. So all three of those things I also did. And now we're doing e-commerce, which is hilarious. And then also Boris was also selling used cars.
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I was a used car salesman. Yes, I did have one job, and that was in the produce department. That was my real only considered job. I think I was a dishwasher at like 13 or 14 years old. And then I moved on to the produce. And I started selling cars at like 16, 17, I used my produce and my lawn mowing money to buy a beater for $500 at a repo auction, and then sold it for $1,000. So those were the fun times.
Nice.
So we have a similar path.
Maybe I'll just set some context just so we know how to communicate with you a little bit better. 2 questions I typically ask people is, what is your experience with meditation? I think we kind of got a taste of that already. And then also, what is your knowledge of blockchain? And obviously, you're not an expert because nobody's an expert. But if you could just answer those real quick, give us some.
Okay, meditation is something. My wife is very spiritual. She's Peruvian, and she's very in tune with her emotions and her soul and her feelings. So that's kind of pushing on to me as an entrepreneur. And she's like, you need to start meditating. And I tried it literally. I was like, I went upstairs. I tried to meditate. There was noises around. It didn't work. I went upstairs. This was like literally a month ago. I went upstairs, tried to meditate for like 5-10 minutes. I think was the time she gave me. And every time my mind just kept wandering. I couldn't do it. It's like, you actually just coaching me and telling me made all the difference. So like this is like my first real meditation session, I guess you could say. So I believe, as an entrepreneur, you need to get away from the stress. My wife's been telling me, try to meditate. I'm like, show me, teach me. I don't know how to do it. But I believe it's something that I want to do and put into my daily routine. I think because as an entrepreneur, you're under tons of stress. There's always problems. Like as an entrepreneur, you're a problem solver. And those problems weigh on you. They weigh on you 24/7 every single day. So clearing your mind of problems and the tabs, the 100 tabs that I have open on my laptop, the 100 tabs that I have open in my head, it's something I think that's why I took interest in wanting to hear the pitch, because I think I want to get into it. I want to utilize it, and hopefully it calms me down. It's less stressful. Relaxing, obviously. Okay, regarding the blockchain stuff, I've been into. I bought Bitcoin at $100, and I lost that computer. I don't even know how many I bought back then, but that computer is trash, and I can never get it back. But then I really got into it last year. Let's say. August, September, started investing a little bit. That's when
I got in the same time. I got in when Bitcoin was 17 grand. I put in like 600 grand.
No, you didn't. Wait. No, you didn't. 17 grand Bitcoin, and you put in 600 grand.
I'm a holder.
Oh my god, that's crazy. No, I'm not into it that much yet. I have a very small portfolio. I think I'm gonna get into it in this next week. What do you think? The next week, the dip. I don't know if it's gonna go any lower. It might go a little bit lower, and after that, I hope we have a good bull run. But blockchain, I've helped a couple companies, blockchain companies. I don't want to name them right now, but I've advised on a couple, I've promoted a couple, and they've done really well. I try to stay clear of promoting too many. There's so many spammy ICOs out there, especially based as in the U.S. based company, you cannot promote an ICO pretty much. So you just got to be careful of that, and you got to make sure that it's an actual utility. And the majority of coins aren't utility, even though they say they are. So there's a lot of gray area right now going on. I know you're trying. You guys are based out of what country? Canada. I think they have the same rules and regulation as U.S. owned, right?
It's pretty similar, and this kind of I'll just touch in. I'll foreshadow some stuff. So part of the raise will be going towards one of the biggest costs, which will be legal fees, and really structuring our company to be positioned as a utility token. So we're working with one of the top crypto lawyers here in Vancouver, Canada, and he's successfully positioned them as utility tokens in the past. So just prefacing it.
Okay. I mean, there was a comment by the SEC that there is no utility. Every single blockchain company that's raising money. I mean, as an investor, whether you're accredited or not, I mean, I'm an accredited investor, but if I were to buy, like, I'm expecting my token to raise in value, and that's an investment, correct? Even if it is you're buying a utility, and that's like the dilemma right now. I mean, you could have the best utility token in the world, but people are buying it in hopes of future gains. Doesn't matter what you use it for, right? I mean, I think I read an article the other day. One of the only utility tokens was Civic. You ever heard of that one?
Yeah.
So
it's just hard. A lot of it's positioning and languaging and wording, and really making sure that our PR and marketing don't use certain words. Like that's really educating the community to kind of look at this as it's just another platform. Like you're earning coupons in an app. So yeah, maybe we'll talk about the app now. I'll let Boris kind of take it away.
Let's talk about the app.
Okay, cool. So before I touch into kind of the big idea behind the app, I want to just kind of preface it with what's happening in the market and why we're doing this now versus any other time. And there's several different factors. The primary driver is when we look at, similar to as what maybe you're hearing from your wife, from your partner, is that right now we're really at a tipping point of what maybe we just loosely call it like mindfulness revolution. This is a similar approach to the health and wellness, to the whole alternative healthcare market as yoga did about, over the past decade or so. So yoga came in and really transformed the landscape of fitness and exercise and the whole wellness field. Right now, more so than ever, the field of mental health, the fields of mind training, and especially mindfulness, and you may be hearing this, as a buzzword more and more lately, are really creeping up on the on the noteworthy side of what's happening in the markets. So we feel that right now the markets are aligning in such a way that we really have this opportunity to step in at this crest of really the advent of mind training into the popular public eye, let's say, not just now in the realm of personal development and kind of on the fringe, but much more so like yoga has stepped in and made physical wellness accessible in a new way. Same thing with mindfulness stepping in and making performance and stress reduction available to the public in an approachable, kind of systematic, non-mystical, non-kind of sectarian, kind of airy-fairy way, but a very clear scientific and systematic approach. And that's essentially the idea behind our app as well. So what we're doing with ConsciousOs is we're essentially gamifying the experience of personal development. We're gamifying the experience of mind training in the context of real everyday life of the user. The bad guy, we can say, is stress. And the superpower is essentially mindfulness. And the way that people progress through this experience, unlike what's happening right now in the market, and when you see that some of the leaders like Calm and Headspace, a lot of that is very course-like. It's kind of like the same idea as you see with different personal development courses. You progress little bit by little bit. There's some element of gamification in that you can see that you're progressing, maybe getting some badges or something like this. But unlike any of those systems that have been happening before, we have this experience of a person progressing based on the actual reduction of their stress levels and the actual increase of their coherence or resiliency, as is determined or demonstrated or confirmed by their biometrics. So we're really looping in the whole field of the quantified self, the idea of really validating that something true is happening, that progress is happening, that these techniques or these approaches, this training is really having an impact on the person beyond just the placebo effect, or beyond just, well, okay, I've completed these 10 sessions, so I should be okay, or I should be feeling better now. People can have a real direct feedback that they are indeed leveling up, and not leveling up in a game just somewhere totally apart from their everyday life, but leveling up in their real life, leveling up in the midst of their, work and family and experience that they wake up to every day. So
I was reading about the bracelet, and that I'm assuming is, quite a bit of inventory that's going to be needed up, like part of the raise is going to go.
So you're talking about the wearable, right? So the wearable, I thought I heard you say bracelet. Actually, what we're doing is a ring. So it's a wearable ring. We just kind of saw you glitch out. Yeah. You're still getting the signal? Are you able to hear it? Okay, sweet. So let us know if it starts breaking apart, because it looks like your video is breaking apart a little bit. Can you still hear us? Let's see. Hey Jason, are you back?
I just maybe because I restarted my computer.
Are you back? We can hear you. You're kind of somewhat
here,
not glitchy.
I think. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Now we can hear you.
Okay. I'm not sure what happened. I think it's because I started my computer.
First world problems when we have internet issues.
Yeah. All right, just shut my computer. I guess
looks like we're back to live. So okay. I just want to tell you a little bit about the wearable, since you brought it up. The wearable is actually a ring and not a bracelet. And this ring is one thing that I want you to understand about it as well is that it's not an essential part of the basic system or the basic platform. The ring is an add-on. It's something that is more of a premium feature rather than a base level feature. For the base level, for the kind of foundational phase of the app, we're using only the technology that is found within the smartphone. So we can actually take heart rate variability readings using the camera of the smartphone, almost any smartphone that's on the market right now. And it's simply done by holding
heart rate?
Yeah.
How?
Heart rate variability. Are you familiar with this metric? Okay, so heart rate variability.
Like holding your phone up?
Sorry,
go ahead. I keep interrupting you. Sorry, go ahead.
So heart rate variability is a metric that is essentially able to show us, based on the variance between the heartbeats, it's able to show a reading of a person's stress level and their level of coherence. Coherence is essentially correlated with resiliency, and resiliency is our ability to bounce back from stress. So when a person is in high coherence, and this is not like, this is a well-established science already. We can look at the Institute of Heart Math, for example, where they're really focusing on just this one particular metric of the heart rate variability and doing all kinds of research with it. So heart rate variability, we can actually take using the smartphone. Jason, check out the camera for a sec. Oh, the screen. So when we put our finger over the camera like this, there is applications and algorithms that, based on shining a light through the finger and reading the amount of red that comes back into the camera, we can see what the pulse is of the user. And based on the pulse, that's essentially the nodes of the heartbeat, we can calculate the heart rate variability and also deduce from there the level of coherence and stress that the person's experiencing.
So my phone, there's an app where I can put my finger to the camera and shine the light on it.
That's right.
And the app, there's an app that can take the heart rate.
That's it. Yeah. So that's
cool.
that's our first level of making this quantification available to the masses, and not just limiting it to not limiting adoption based on having to have someone buy this smart wearable device. Okay, the smart wearable device goes beyond that. We're also going to be using galvanic skin response that looks at the activation of the sympathetic nervous system and essentially gives more information, more depth in terms of your progress and what you're experiencing, what levels of stress you're experiencing.
Okay.
So you had mentioned that, yes, you had thought a large portion of this raise will be going towards the wearable ring. That is somewhat the case, but not really. So we're applying for a bunch of government grants. Right now, wearable technology is a huge industry. So there's a lot of funding going into wearable and also supporting biometric data. So we're applying for a bunch of government grants. We're in the process of doing that. And also we'll be launching a Kickstarter, hopefully raising $1 million. We're quite familiar with that realm also. So
nice.
Yeah, so in terms of, you're starting to touch onto the budget, the majority of this budget is essentially going to be focused on the development and the marketing of this platform. Probably more than 2/3 of it is focused in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely need the marketing budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
A big marketing budget. Okay, I mean, questions. Have you started developing the wearable?
Yep, we're about probably, I would say, probably about 40 to 50% done the research. Now it's about choosing the components. We have 3D mock-ups, as you can see on the thing. We're not too set on that exact look, but we'll be upgrading that for sure.
Yeah.
I just want to touch in real quick on the entire concept again. So the idea with blockchain is it allows us for the first time in human history to create shared value economies, right? So what that means is if me and you share a value, in this case, we're saying meditation is valuable, we see the benefits, we want to share it with the world, we should be rewarded in some way, shape, or form for participating in those activities. So literally, we're able, for the first time without the institutions and banks, to mint tokens out of thin air, just like money exists. It's not real, it's kind of a made-up thing that we all believe in. So it's the first time that we're able to create shared value economies. Now, how do we do that? We need to establish some sort of trust between me and you, right? So the way currency works is currency is literally a form of trust. So how do we establish trust? Well, Bitcoin currently uses proof of work, right? Just a bunch of machines wasting energy. Well, ours is called proof of meditation. And essentially, how do you prove that somebody is meditating? Well, it's everything that Boris has been talking about.
It's like, well, proof of stake, I guess you could.
Exactly. Yeah, we're terming proof of meditation in the consensus mechanism. So two phases. First phase is with the smartphone technology itself. We can prove, again, Boris let you know how we can prove that. Second phase is with the wearable ring technology. So I just wanted to kind of give you an overview again and tell you that. So one large portion of this app is centered around philanthropic use. So right now we're partnered with some amazing companies. We can talk about them later, but one of them is owned by the famous Peter Singer. He's a philanthropist. He owns a company called The Life You Can Save. And they've vetted over like 300 different causes already, all quantified. So if you go to their website, you enter X dollar amount, you can see that X dollar amount is planting this amount of trees. So you can imagine logging into the app, and as part of the onboarding process, you choose a cause or a charity of your choice. So let's say you choose planting trees.
Oh, yeah.
So the next screen is a slider bar with a minimum of 20% of your meditation has to go towards this cause or charity, up to a maximum of 100%. So now users are not only meditating for their small self, but they're also helping the world. And maybe I can also just touch
Gotcha.
in
So
real quick.
the more you meditate, the more you can give back to charity.
Exactly. Perfect. It's kind of like Charity Miles does this. Charity Miles is you walk and you donate to causes. In our case, we're meditating. So I just want to touch real quickly because I think it's really important on the vision and why this came to be. Essentially, I went to a business mastermind in LA. You might know these guys.
Hold on, I gotta get a phone stand. Hold on for me one second.
Sure.
All right, we're back.
Great, brother. All right, so I'll just quickly pitch on the vision and how this idea came to be because I think it's really important. So I was in a mastermind. It was a $10,000 mastermind with Peter Boog and Mark Lack and those guys. And I went there. It was fun. It was 3 days. We're hanging out in mansions, yachts, all that good stuff. I was more so helping out the entrepreneurs there, I felt like. And the value that I got was really in the last like 15 moments when Mark was speaking, and he said something very important. And he said the difference between millionaires, which I'm lucky enough to become, and billionaires is only one thing. And it's that billionaires wake up not asking themselves, how do I make more money? They ask themselves, how do I help 1 billion people? So that kind of planted a seed. I ended up traveling from that event down to, Boris was living in California at that time. So I drove down to his place. We had planned a 3-day silent meditation kind of retreat. I remember that we were doing 1-hour sittings. I remember in the second sitting when my mind kind of quieted down, this whole vision of kind of paying people to meditate came to me. And it's really like the combination of everything that I've learned in my life to do with both money and also spirituality. And I see no difference between the two. So essentially, if we can start paying people to just be rather than do, so most of us are just doing our day-to-day lives. We're just doing and doing. And why are we doing it? Well, typically we're doing it to make money, right? So if we can pay the world to just be, we've changed the world from a very yang kind of movement to a more yin. And I think it'll bring a lot of balance and harmony to the world. So that's kind of how it came to be. And yeah.
Cool. I mean, I like the vision. Explain the business model. I mean, besides the tokenomics, the actual business front end model.
Yeah. So I can maybe just riff on that. So we look at the 2 leading meditation apps, Headspace and Calm. Currently not on the blockchain. The blockchain is a whole other financial valuation that we can talk about. Headspace and Calm currently are valued at about $250 million each. They both have about 400,000 active users with about 2 million downloads each. I could be botching these numbers, but I think that's what their ranges are. So there's
both apps have about 400,000 downloads.
400,000 active users, 2 million downloads, 2 million plus, or it could be 20 million downloads. I could be completely wrong, but I believe it's 400,000 active users. So their business model is something very simple. It's subscription-based, tier levels to unlock different contents, and also in-app purchases. So we will be having that as one of the core driving models within our app. The difference between what we're doing and what they're doing is if you look at the #1 complaint on the iTunes store for both those apps, is that there's a certain demographic that just can't afford $120 a year to pay for meditation, right? The low-income families. So we address that by allowing users to actually meditate to pay for part of their subscription or all of their subscription. So we will have the option for them to pay in fiat or also the cryptocurrency, which we're deeming wisdom tokens within our app.
Gotcha. I was just talking to someone in the fitness industry yesterday. He has a kickboxing franchise.
Oh, you blacked out.
Sorry. Yeah, I just had to end a call. Someone just called me. We were talking about Orange Theory. And
you're a busy man.
Yeah. When someone calls once and you get hung up on, you don't call again.
Right.
You leave a message or text. Let's see if he does the third time. Then I'm going to get mad. Oh, no, there's the text. There we go. All right. So the unique selling, the Orange Theory sold for like 17 times EBITDA. Like that's a crazy valuation for, a franchise. Franchises normally sell for more than normal valuation of EBITDA because it's a franchise. But their unique selling proposition was their wearable device, and that's what made them different, and that's what everybody had to get in order to attend the class. So having an app that makes you get a wearable device is a really good unique selling proposition that you guys have going, that you can almost make it mandatory. Like,
I love it, and that's really our goal. So one of the things about wearable technology, I think Boris did this research, and again, stats are completely made up. We could be 100% wrong, but wearable technology is this big thing, right? Like it's a buzzword, like AI. So, yeah. But it's being adopted at a very low percentage rate per year. And why is that? Well, there's many things. One is cost. When we look at the market, so we talked about Headspace and Calm in the app industry. Now, there's two wearable technologies in the meditation industry that are quite big. One is HeartMath, which clips on your ear, I believe. Yeah. And the other one is Muse, which actually wraps around your head, kind of. And the reason, and those devices cost over $100 to $300, so it's not affordable for the everyday person. We're trying to make our device out of eco-friendly products, so hemp plastic or something really cheap. Ideally, it comes in under the range of $50, which would be amazing. Then we can kind of spread it to these like third world countries too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the price point of that is definitely have to be under $50. Okay, so besides the in-app purchases, what would that be? Besides the wearable device, what other in-app purchases?
Yeah. So again, we're circling back to the business model. So the number one thing that we have as a business model is a similar structure as Calm and Headspace that Mike mentioned, which is our subscription tiers. Okay, subscription tiers that can be paid in either fiat or wisdom tokens. In terms of in-app purchases, what we're doing is we're actually partnering with meditation teachers, and we're allowing these meditation teachers that are already established and already have their own following or their own books to create what's called on our platform master classes. Master classes essentially,
that's a great idea.
It's like an immersion with that particular teacher's style and their teaching and their philosophy.
So you could, so a user could follow almost like a social, so can follow different teachers or meditation teachers, or even just follow different users.
Yes. So now you're touching on another thing that we didn't dive into this conversation, but let's touch on it now, is our social component. Yeah. So in the whole space of mindfulness apps, there's only one app that has some element of social component, and that's called Insight Timer. And their social component is very basic and very rudimentary and very underused by their users. You will see groups there that are maybe 100,000 users in that group, and maybe 1 or 2 posts a day are happening. So we can see that the way that that's set up is not a functional way. It's not a way that's working. But what we're looking at from the point of view of gamification, we're really understanding that gamification, one of the primary drivers for us to play games is actually to be social together, to interact with each other, to compete against each other, to have this kind of interaction on the platform. So what we're doing is we're actually pairing people up. So when let's say that you were to sit down to meditate for 10 minutes, what would happen is it's almost like you're joining a game. So there may be a little, up to 10 seconds of a waiting period to see who we can pair you up with, who's also about to start a meditation. And when that meditation starts, you essentially get paired up with this person. And it's almost like now a 2-player or a multiplayer game where you guys see each other. Now you're entering into this meditation. You're going to do it together. And because you're doing it together, your reward is actually going to be higher. The fact that you both complete the meditation will also introduce a little bit of that team mentality. And so when both people complete, the reward is, again, it reaches another little multiplier. So there's all of these game mechanisms built into that social component. And in the end, of course, you can also interact with this person. You may want to add them to your friends list. You may speak to them, etc. It goes beyond that. We also have in-person meditation that's almost like a function where if you wanted to meditate with somebody in person, you could essentially turn on your locator and see who else in your area wants to meditate. So we can facilitate some of that more like couch surf like, in-person community.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, what was the question I was going to ask? Okay, what are you asking? What are you trying to raise, like with this Pitch Investors Live, or in general? You mentioned something about the Kickstarter. What are you seeking?
Yeah. So I mean, we're going to do a $2 million seed round. Again, that's pre-ICO. $2 million will go towards huge two main costs, which are one, the legal fees. And then the second cost is kind of hiring that A to Z company. Nowadays, everyone's pitching themselves as an A to Z company. So we vetted like over like 100 of them to kind of narrow it down to one in Vancouver and one in Seattle that have a decent portfolio in their hands. So those are the two main costs. The other costs will be for app development and roadshows. And then in terms of the actual ICO launch, just to kind of give you a roadmap, we're planning on launching in September. If we can hit that goal, we'll have an MVP by then. We have an MVP now, but it doesn't have blockchain. By then, we should have a solid blockchain component. We're building on the EOS platform, which should also give us a lot of hype around the industry, just like we saw with NEO last year. When all the ICOs were launching with NEO, they would get funded instantly. Yeah. We're going to aim to do a $35 to $50 million hard cap, depending on market conditions. So really, this initial 2 million seed round is to allow us to really hit those goals. And obviously, part of it will go towards Kickstarter, which will be a very small portion of it.
Gotcha. And the ICO starts when?
We're aiming for September.
And that's you're doing the actual public crowd sale, or credit investors only? Public, right?
Public.
Yeah. Okay, so the I guess the credit part would be the 2 million seed round. Then you go with the ICO. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, we could definitely. I'm definitely interested. I like the concept. I like the app. We can probably take a conversation offline. This Pitch Investors Live, we only like to record so much, give out so much information. I get asked the right questions. But yeah, let's definitely exchange some information and see where I can help. Be an advisor role, marketing role, whatever, something like that may need. But definitely, I love the concept and love to speak with you guys.
Sounds good. Next week, Boris and I are heading to the Tulip Conference. It's one of the largest blockchain conferences, and it's down in San Fran. So we'll be speaking there and hopefully leading everyone through a group meditation also. So
cool. All right, let's exchange information. I'll message you right after this. Any questions for me, I guess?
Oh man, I'm excited to learn a little bit more about you. And if we have to fly down to Miami to see you, it'll be great.
Awesome. All right, guys. I'll catch you a little bit. And great pitch. Thank you, Pitch Investors Live, for putting us together.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Big thanks.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
See ya.